How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
What are the benefits and or drawbacks of being Captain America's best mate?
It doesn't all rely on my shoulders, thank God. And then, you might not be seen as in the same light.
There's that moment where, the two of them and your character is, I'm not going to say a ladies' man, but comfortable in his own skin around the ladies.
Well, I mean, the characters have known each other for such a long time. They grew up together, so I think there's an element of the brother kind of competitive thing. I think in that situation, my character's very comfortable showing off to him, and just sort of kind of trying to get him to, to see that, maybe try thinking about this as opposed to holding a gun. I don't know. Maybe this is what people do. They have hormones.
They have
hormones.
Hormones. Yeah,
yes.
Those things.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's toying with the idea of, my God, I've never been a wingman.
Oh, who? Steve or me? Or my character?
Yeah,
no, I don't think he thinks of himself as a wingman. I think he thinks of himself much more as a leader. But, obviously that's the funny thing, because later on when suddenly you're like, I guess maybe I'm a wingman now. Shit. It's like, what the hell just happened?
Every hero needs a posse, and there's a great moment where Captain America assembles the team.
Well, yeah. Well, that team is iconic in the comic books. You got the J.J. Fields plays Falsworth, who has his own kind of through line in the comic books, and I mean Dum Dum Dugan. They're all part of it, so it had to happen.
Yeah, nice. When you're in a movie of this kind of magnitude, like the budget's $1 million, do you sit around and does it all dawn on you? I better do a good job, or are you able to put that aside?
No, I mean it starts out realistically like that. I really I don't want to get fired. But I think at some point you think about, in my opinion, most of the work actually happens before you even get the part, and then before you even start shooting. So on the day that you show up, it's kind of, you're just ready to go because you've done so much preparation. So you just sort of have to let it go and get out of your own way.
So how many other guys were going for it? How much work did it take to get a part like this?
Actually, at the time that I got this part, I don't think anybody went out. I don't know. I'm not sure, because I always went out for the Steve Rogers role. So I never knew who was going out or what was happening with this role. So I just found out about it.
Right. I see.
Mm-hmm.
And so this film, though, it takes place at a time that may be quite unfamiliar to, like, let's say, people born after 1990, which is a lot of people that will be watching this film.
Right.
So what do they need to know about the time that this film was made? The set?
Well, I mean, look, it has a lot of elements for audiences today to be able to relate to it. I mean, they don't have to know anything about the period or the time. They don't have to know even anything about the comic books. There's a lot of action sequences, and it's super fun, and it just goes for 2 hours. And then obviously it honors that period for the people that do know what that time was. And I think one of the nice things that he's been around for 70 years. This character that people have known. Hopefully, some of the older generations that remember him a certain way can go and see and kind of relate to that.
The amount of and how do I put this? The patriotism that appears in the film isn't really that the same thing doesn't really exist in Australia, as far as the flag waving thing means something kind of different in my country. How do you think that'll translate outside of America?
Well, that will be that's always been sort of a controversial question with a film like this and a title like this. I think people need to remember that really was happening in 1944 in America. There was a very different kind of patriotism than there is now. People were also not as aware. They hadn't gone through the wars that have happened since then. And the Vietnam War and the Gulf War and all that stuff. So I mean, we've arrived at a different, complete mindset. But it's important, if you're going to do a movie in 1944, that you understand that people really believe that in this country. So I hope that what they can do is, as opposed to necessarily jump to conclusions that this is a message of 2011, they can just look at it and understand that this is a movie, and it's also historical. And I mean, that's just the history of this country, you know, as the same way that you'd want to do a history about your country.